Hey, welcome to Classic Performance, and we have got a great one for you today. 1969 Camaro we just purchased, fully restored, numbers matching, and this car has paperwork going back to when it was new. So we're going to take a tour of this car, show you everything about it, tell you what makes it so special. We just arrived here at the house, and that demonstration was done on a closed course somewhere in Mexico by a professional driver. It was not me. But anyway, we're here, get you kind of a closer look at the outside of it, give you a little look under the hood, and then we'll go over a lot of the details about a 69 Camaro. So this car right here, and I'll go ahead and turn it off so you can hear me a little bit better, but it does have the L48 350 300 horse motor, which would be correct for a 1969 SS350 car. And of course, you could get the 396 and other engine options. And along with air conditioning, this particular car, of course, is the TurboFire 350 300 horsepower engine, the L48, which would come in the SS350. Power disc brakes were mandatory on all super sport cars, regardless of the motor. If it was a super sport car, it had power disc brakes on it. And of course, you can get the JL four-wheel disc brakes, which is one of the most expensive options. And we'll talk about options in a little bit. Options were probably as much as 130 different options available, from interior lighting, extra lighting decor, to different rear ends and gearing, the four-wheel brake option, all kinds of trim options, the fiber optic light system, all kinds of options. We'll talk about those in just a minute. But like I said, this particular car with air conditioning would have had the heavy-duty cooling package with the large radiator, and then also the heavy-duty fan, which was a clutched thermostatic fan. Now, this car, the thing that's not original about it is it does have headers on it. It has headers and a crossover muffler, 2.5 inch, but I think it's like a Flowmaster system. That's what the car came with. We have the original manifolds for it, and they're probably going to go back on very soon. And another thing I almost forgot to mention, this car does have the ZL2 special inducted air system for $75, and this seals up against this plenum in the hood, and it has cowl induction. It's called a cowl, I guess they call it the cowl induction on the Chevelles and El Caminos. But on here, this is a cowl hood. It's a steel cowl hood. So the air, the high pressure air in front of the windshield, then forces air into here, and NASCAR uses this all the time to get fresh cold air into the engine, denser charge, so the engine performs even better. So this is the ZL2 ducted hood, and this car probably did not come with this originally. This is probably an add-on. Somebody added that on when the car is being restored, but I think about 10,000 came with the ZL2 cold air induction. This car does have super sport wheels on it, and they were actually optional on a Camaro. You don't see them very often. They were only optioned on, available as options on the 69 for a partial part of the year in 1969. They were not available on 70s or 67s or 68s. And this is in tuxedo black with the houndstooth interior. Now, the trim tag on this car is an X11 car, so it is also a base interior car, standard black vinyl, and the houndstooth seats were added during the restoration. This car probably had just regular black vinyl in it, and then your standard steering wheel and center console with the turbo 350 3-speed transmission. Now, I mentioned the X11 trim package. That's on the tag on the front of the cowl. This is a Norwood car, so it's a lot of coating versus the Los Angeles cars. X11 is the trim package, so I'll tell you what that is. You would have this bright trim around the gutter here. That's part of the X11 package. You get the side gill trim right here. That's part of the X11 package. The rocker trim right here, part of the package. And then also, you have the chrome bezel right here around the headlights, and the taillight treatment also gets a chrome bezel. And you can see that right here distinctly. And if there's any other options that you know of there, or additions that come with the X11 package, let me know. It would have had on all 4 wheel wells the bright trim work. It's just a polished aluminum that goes on the inside of here with a little lip. We'll probably add those just to be correct. So the lip trim is missing from this car as part of the X11 package. But if I'm missing something, let me know, because I'm always willing to learn. And this is actually the first Camaro that I've ever owned. I've been fortunate to have a lot of other cars. Always wanted a Camaro. This one came up, and I just had to go get it because it was close and it was in driving distance. Anyway, as we make our way to the back, you can also see that this car does have kind of the greenish tinted glass. Tinted glass was an option. You could get a tinted windshield, or you can get tinted glass all the way around. I do believe that air conditioning cars mandatory for the tinted window package, so all the windows on this car do have that greenish tint, and is the original glass. So we come around to the back of the car. This is a $31 option. The D80 spoiler, which is the rear spoiler, and of course you might have seen up on the front air dam spoiler. And this air dam spoiler has 3 bars, one in the middle and one on either side, that go back into the frame and stabilize that bar so it doesn't move under high speeds. So with the D80 spoiler package, you get the front and rear spoilers. That's a $31 option. And one thing you could not get with the D80 spoiler package is the rear mounted aerial antenna. It had to be front mounted, but when this car is restored, someone decided they were going to move the antenna to the back, but you could not get this with the D80 spoiler package, and I'm going to tell you exactly why right now. So as we open up the trunk, you could see that if this antenna was up, right, it would get clipped by the spoiler right here. And of course, I had the antenna up and opened the trunk and snapped it right off. So that's why you could not get the rear antenna with the D80 spoiler package. But nice modification here. Nothing wrong with that. No harm, no foul. This car does have the aqua houndstooth trunk mat in it, and underneath here is the correct splatter paint. And you can even see maybe some of the original splatter paint still up here, and it's almost kind of an aqua splatter paint. But this is also incorrect. It's a nice addition, the aqua houndstooth mat, but that aqua houndstooth mat would have been available, as I understand it, on the deluxe interior package with the molded door panels and so forth. But it's a nice addition. The problem with this rubber mat is it traps moisture. So if you have any trunk leaks, these mats were responsible for rusting out almost every trunk pan that had a water leak, because obviously the water would get behind this rubber mat right here, and it would never come out. It just rust that trunk pan out. So anyway, that's the trunk. I do have the correct 14-inch spare tire, wheel, that sort of thing with it, and some other goodies. You always want to ask when you're buying a classic car, do you have any extra parts with it? And I asked. He had the manifolds, the spare tire, and some other things that just weren't with the car, and he probably didn't think to even add them in there. So I told you in the intro, I'd tell you what makes this car special. I had known that this car, it was told to me that this car was in North Carolina its whole life. And I was given this little placard here, this little thing from Larry Smith Chevrolet in Charlotte. I don't know where Larry Smith Chevrolet was. And if you are from the Charlotte area, let me know. It might have been on South Boulevard, someone told me. But I wrote the Department of Motor Vehicles, sent in my check for $13, filled out a form, and I have got all the past title and registration records, a whole packet of this car. And I'm just going to flip a few pages ahead of where, and it was Sherrills Ford, North Carolina. It was up in that area. It was around the Lake Norman area. It went to Winston-Salem. And as you go through here, all these different title and registration documents, you keep going back here. Now we're in 6 of 81. Here's a copy of the title, the transfers, the stamping on it from the DMV branch. It's amazing that they scanned all this paperwork and kept records of it. And you just keep going back, and it goes back into the 70s. And this car was even sold. Now this is Vicki Weatherspoon here, Grace. There's documents in here where she got married and changed her name, and then the car was at one point, and this is from 1977. Might have been her or someone else, or a couple gals owned this car. And there's a document in here where this was. Well, here you go. Change of name due to marriage. This was also given to a daughter, and one of the other pieces of documentation show that this car was sold. And I did some Google checking, and it was actually sold 0.4 of a mile down the road to another fellow. So one guy must have been friends with another one, and sold the car down here. We go back to still with Vicki here, to 1975, and she had lived in different areas. So with that paperwork, it's very interesting to see the whole lineage of this car from when it was new. Let's talk about options. These cars, as I've mentioned, you could get over 130 different options. So some of the options that you could get would be, so for 1969, you had as many as 12 different engine options. You had the 230 cubic inch and the 250 cubic inch turbo thrift straight 6-cylinder engines. They weren't very popular, but many cars had them. And then you have the small blocks, which are probably the most popular, and they were called the turbo fire engines. So you had the turbo fire 307, which was the base V8 engine, the 327 that was discontinued in January of '69, and the 352 barrel, and the L48 300 horsepower 4-barrel, which is what this car has. And there were 4 official big block engines, and they were all 396s. You had the 396 L34, which is a 325 horsepower turbojet. All the 396 big blocks were called turbojets. You had the 350 horse L35 and the 375 horsepower L78 and the L89 375 horsepower, but it had the aluminum heads on it. And of course, these all had quadrajet carburetors and oval port cast iron heads. But if you had a solid lifter cam, like in the 302, or even in some of the big blocks, you would have a Holley carburetor. And with the solid lifter cams, you could not get air conditioning. So you had to have a hydraulic lifter motor to get air conditioning as an option. So the 302 Z28 would not have been available with air conditioning, and it had to have a 4-speed. And of course, you had the 427s, the COPO, Central Office Production Order. It was kind of a backdoor to getting a Corvette 427 in a '69 Camaro, and you had the 425 horsepower L72, and then of course you had the all aluminum ZL1 big block 427. So very rare to see that all aluminum big block 427. The Z22 Rally Sport package, probably one of the most popular packages, most desirable even, would be the the full width grille with the concealed headlights that are operated, or the hidden headlights people call them, operated by vacuum, and they had the headlight washers with them, the Rally Sport emblem grille, and the reverse lights were relocated to below the back bumper in the back balance panel, and the rear taillights went all the way across. So the rear taillights did not have the backup light in the center. It was relocated for a solid backup light. So that was the Rally Sport option. Of course, you can get a convertible. The convertibles are very popular. All the pace cars were convertibles. And then if you didn't want the convertible top, you could get the vinyl roof, and the vinyl roof cover option was very popular. That was about 80 bucks versus the convertible, top option. And another option worth mentioning, is a very interesting option, and I don't know how long it was in production or how many cars had it, but you had a tire traction or a snow melt type of device, which had a canister above each wheel well right here, and I'll show you a picture of it, that had some kind of a spray for the tire and a button on the dash where you could de-ice your tires or add traction in the winter or in the cold climates. So that'll give you a quick walk around of the 1969 Camaro, and it's going to be a fun car, going to kind of be a fun project. We're going to put the original manifolds back on it, get the bright trim moldings put back on it just so it'll be correct for that trim package, a couple other things. So stay tuned. We got a lot more to do on this car. We're going to come back with a full driving video too next. So take care, have yourself a great day, and we'll see you next time.